Oh, hey guys. I'm just putting some missing person ads up. Actually, maybe you guys can help. Craig the Brute has been missing since July 2020. His family is very worried about him. If you have any information that could lead to him being found, please call this number. Any information you can give could help get us closer to finding him. So anyway, Halo Infinite came out. I remember when the first Halo game came out, I even had it on PC and Xbox. Halo 2 and 3 were great. When Halo 3 was having this big release special on G4, I remember staying up with KFC popcorn chicken watching. Then proceeding to throw up right away when they released it because I ate way too much chicken. Halo 4 was there, and so was 5, I guess. 5 years would then go by until we get the latest game in the main franchise, Halo Infinite. 6 years would go by till we would get Halo Infinite. Yeah, due to difficulties to development, among other things in 2020, 343 decided to delay it a year. But they did release multiplayer first, and it's free to play. This game was described as a spiritual reboot, but I don't know how that's really true. Reboots kinda indicate that they're restarting from the beginning, when in actuality the game is the 6th chapter in the Master Chief story. Game-wise, at least. Released on both Xbox and Steam, multiplayer on November 15th, with the campaign and officially coming out, I guess, on December 8th. I've played multiplayer on and off since it's been released, but when campaign came out, I played it on the 9th, about a day later. I had work on the 8th. But I played through it in hopes to get the review out by a week. In this review, I'm going to first talk about multiplayer and gameplay. I might show footage from campaign, because I got some of that gameplay footage from there. I won't speak too much on the campaign yet, mostly like the story beats and like gameplay exclusive to it. But don't worry, I'll put out a warning before I start talking about the campaign. One of the main things I should mention is that multiplayer is free, which is great if you just want to play multiplayer with friends. But with that, there are problems that I do have with it. Because it's free to play, you're kinda stuck with the free to play tactics, mainly the Battle Pass. One of the best parts in the last few Halos, starting from 3 and expanding on to Reach, is the Spartan armor customization. That and playable elites, but they're not available yet, and as far as I know, they're not planned to. Armor customization in this game is lacking. Right now, you start with 3 different types of armor. The Mark 7, which is default and you get at the beginning, so I don't know how it's rare if everyone starts with it. The Heroes of Reach armor set, which you get through the Battle Pass. Which, while I don't like the idea of having to pay $10 for the Battle Pass, I assume it's going to be $10 for each of the Battle Passes. I do like that the Battle Pass will always be there, and they're not a limited time thing. That at least makes me think I might consider getting it in the future. And then this armor set, which I think is the Samurai Spartan armor set. And you lock them by... I don't know. I don't see the Hayabusa armor from 3 though, which was my favorite and I haven't seen it in the game since. Maybe they'll put it in the game later. But yeah, a lot of the unlocks are stay tuned or coming soon, which is kind of disheartening. Also, the color schemes are lame too. Instead of choosing what color goes where, they're all pre-made sets. You get cool armor design like the camo one, Obelisk Stone, but some that don't look good, like Blue Rampage. And only certain armor gets certain colors. If you unlock it on one armor, you don't get it on the other, and it's not even an option to unlock. Vehicles and weapons can also be customized. I feel like I should have mentioned that. Of course, you can't go wrong with MLG Pro colors. If you played Halo multiplayer before, you basically played this one. But if you haven't, I would highly recommend this one if you were to play a Halo multiplayer. Again, it is free and the newest one, so that's most easily accessible. But I do have complaints. For one, when I played before, there was a Fiesta mode where you get random weapons each time. I don't know where that went, now there's just Quick Play and Big Battle. Big Battle has a lot more game modes to it. Quick Play, it's just the 4. Slayer, your basic deathmatch. Oddball, you take the ball, or in actuality a skull, and hold it to score points. I managed to hold the ball the entire match. Then there's Capture the Flag. Self-explanatory, you capture the enemy's flag and bring it back to yours to score. And Strongholds. Capture 3 bases to score 3 times and you win. I really enjoyed multiplayer. I even live streamed some of it on my Twitch channel, which is why my webcam is sitting there right now. I like playing Fiesta because it introduced me to the new weapons in the game. Some of them are alright. I particularly don't like Forerunner weapons and the Hydra. The Ravager also sucks. My usual go-to weapon is the Battle Rifle, and now with the Sidekick, which is the new pistol, and the Commando, those are my 2 new favorites as well. The Skewer is devastating, able to kill in one hit. The only downside is that you have to reload after one shot, and it's super effective against enemy vehicles. I tried playing it with bots, and it's not really that fun. AI immediately goes for explosive weapons. I could never get bots on both teams. It would always have to be that I would have to switch teams, so it's me against them. Not that it helps, the AI doesn't seem to be that great. Vehicles are also obviously in the game, just don't drive near teammates. It doesn't end well. Oh, did I just run? Oh my god, I'm an idiot. But they can add a nice touch to the match to make things chaotic. Respawn time, I do wish was a little bit shorter. It sucks that when you die, you have to sit there for 6 seconds. In the Battle Pass, you need to gain XP to level up and go up the bar. XP gain is pretty slow. Besides the daily and weekly challenges, you only get like 50 XP a match. I heard they're fixing it, but I don't know if they fixed it yet. And besides, if you don't pay the $10, the only thing you can unlock are the free stuff, which only looks like small minor things. You can't get the Noble Team Armor set, which is the main reason to work on this Battle Pass. And I don't like it. You should be able to unlock this stuff, even if it means doing it for free would take a bit longer. Not too much, because then you just feel like you're going back in circles with just giving them the money. And that's really it. The only thing that's holding multiplayer back is the lack of game modes and that whole Battle Pass shenanigans. So I guess the only thing now to talk about is story mode. Now, the campaign is brand new, so I won't go too far in discussing it in this review. Maybe if there's enough demand, I'll make a whole separate video on the story alone. I'll try not to spoil too much endgame and story stuff, but if you don't want to be spoiled about anything on it, that's completely understandable. You just go to this time right here and go to my overall. But if not, let this be the spoiler warning. So the campaign starts after Halo 5, with Cortana starting a war with the galaxy. We see the Infinity heading towards a Halo ring to stop her, with Master Chief leading the charge, or he's getting his ass kicked by this guy.
Round 1, fight! You lose!
Is Atriox, and I am the last face you will ever see.
Well, 30 seconds in and we already lost the game. That was a short campaign. Ending kind of came out of nowhere. But no, Master Chief is still alive somehow. This guy was looking for him too? According to a bit of dialogue a bit later, Master Chief was floating in space for like 6 months. Apparently his survival mode helps him not have to eat or drink. The pilot, who's nicknamed as Echo right now, I don't like him, but I don't hate him. I find him pretty annoying, and he's really just there because the Chief needs a pilot. Master Chief, I think, in this game has more emotion and character than all 5 of the other games combined. Throughout the campaign, he shows so much emotion, despite we're never actually getting to see his face. When he talks about Cortana and what happened, and even when his fellow Spartans are found dead or dying. It's kind of a shame we don't really see him interact with any allies besides Echo and Weapon.
Chief, the Banished. I tried to stop them. I tried to...
Easy. You're safe now.
The new foes Master Chief faced today is not the Covenant, but the Banished. Which, when you get right down to it, are the same enemies that you've been fighting since Halo 1. And they were introduced in Halo Wars 2, so if you didn't play it, like I didn't, you wouldn't really know who they were unless you read the books that were published around Halo Wars 2 and Halo Infinite. And since I didn't know there were books past the first 5 or so in the Halo universe till I wrote this review, I really have no idea who these guys were. But that really doesn't matter, because when we were first introduced to their leader, Atriox, and he's a badass. Swinging Master Chief around, which I'm pretty sure he weighs 1,000 pounds, with ease, and just tossing him aside and getting a good look at him. You could definitely tell he's menacing. I can't wait to fight him. So the Banished leader is this weenie called Escrum, and wait, what? Yeah, after you see this absolute unit of a brute, this intimidating brute is, at first glance, you know he's tough. Apparently he died after tossing Chief out of the ship. I guess he didn't see that explosion that was happening behind him. This guy is not as big of a threat as Atriox, clearly not as much as a fighter as him. See, Atriox will walk into your ship and wreck it. Escrum would just sit there. He mocks you and he sends others to fight you. I won't go into detail yet, but he wasn't even that tough of a fight in all honesty.
Something better. The Master Chief returns. We thought you dead, tossed into the void. Yet here you stand. Humans call you their savior. Covenant, demon, the Banished, prey.
One thing I definitely loved was that the grunts and even the jackals have much more dialogue. I hear conversations before going into the battles, and they even react when their weapons overheat. There was a high command grunt that would speak out while you explored the map, and most of the dialogue they said did get a chuckle out of me. The writing in this game was on point. One of the main features of the campaign is the open world, and yeah, it's open world, kind of. See, the map, the Zeta Halo ring, I don't think was too big. There are plenty of things to do on it, though. Saving Marines, taking over Banish FOBs, and even hunt important members of the Banish, unlocking weapon variations when you do so. You also find Spartan cores throughout the map. You use them to level up your gadgets, like shields and your new grapple hook. I only really leveled up the grapple hook and the shields. I didn't ever use the other ones, and it's probably just me, but I didn't notice any kind of difference when I had no shield upgrades and then the full shield upgrades. My shield still dropped just as quickly. Along with this, you can find weapon lockers, which unlock some multiplayer cosmetics, which kind of puts multiplayer in a $60 paywall if you can only unlock that stuff through the campaign. Chief has to go retrieve the weapon, an AI made after Cortana so they can use her to imitate Cortana and then take Cortana out for deletion. She is the one who says Master Chief was gone for 6 months.
It's been 6 months. Where have you been?
What happened? Where is
And Weapon, she's adorable. She is easily my favorite character. So happy and naive. I think she definitely has the most character journey throughout the campaign. I can't talk about what happens later in the campaign, but I'm definitely hoping she's going to be in the next game.
Wow, you got here fast. Not the type to waste any time, huh?
No.
Noted. Let's go. Faiza's banished.
Can you operate it?
In my sleep? Not that I sleep, but... Oh! I don't need to. It's already on its way down.
Incoming.
But what if it's a friend?
It isn't.
Bosses in this game aren't what I would say difficult at all. Most of the combat isn't. It's more that they're annoying. They either have explosive weapons or melee weapons, which can easily kill you, and it's kind of bullshit. Like, jumping ahead a bit, you have to fight these two brutes. They use a Ravager to shoot in the air like mortars, and they can pinpoint location, and they just keep firing and firing. I found that some bosses aren't too tough if you lower the shields down enough and use the skewer. Or better yet, if you use the Warthog turret, it outright just melts their shield and health. The only major bug I found was the last part of the game where I was battling a bunch of Banish and oh my god, I fell through the floor, where am I? Oh god, I'm trapped. I can't get out. Usually the bugs let you easily clip through back, but no! And I can't kill myself because the checkpoint happened right when I fell through the floor. I had no choice but to restart the mission. Thankfully, I was still right at the beginning. I won't go into it anymore. The story is great. I was engaged the entire time I played. I wish they did do more of it, like maybe make the story a little bit longer, add side quests, flesh it out a bit, and answer some questions you're definitely going to be left with. I know I did. And I would say open world with quotations. See, you have 15 story missions, which seems to be the standard of most Halo games, and a bunch of activities to do around this section of the ring, but that's it really. It feels kinda dead, say with the few groups of Banish you always find as you go to the next mission. This feels more like a linear game with an overworld in between missions. I wouldn't call this the Fallout or the Skyrim or even the GTA levels of open world, but really that is okay. This is 343's first Halo game to be open world, and in my opinion their first Halo campaign to not completely suck. Overall, I would say Halo Infinite was a flawed success. While it is 343's best attempt at a Halo game, it doesn't mean that it was a complete success. There were a ton of problems that need to be addressed. Besides delaying it an entire year, that was most likely not their fault. 2020 was a really bad year for video games. So when it did launch, you would think all the features would be there day one, right? Wrong! Co-op mode, one of the best features in Halo, was not available at launch. It's coming at a later time. Rain and Snow won't feature at launch, but it may be included later. Forge is not included at launch, but will be included later on. Dual wielding is not available at launch, and I don't see anything that says it might come later. This was a good first attempt at an open world game, and 343 should definitely take the experience and enhance it when they make Halo 7. Make the open world more alive, maybe add in a new faction or two and introduce new aliens to fight. You know, after 6 games of fighting the same brutes, elites, hunters, grunts, and jackals with tiny amounts of difference, like 1, maybe 2 new aliens, it gets very tiresome and samey. Definitely adding side quests would improve the game too. If you want to get the campaign now, I would highly suggest waiting until co-op and the other features that were supposed to be at launch finally do show up. But buying it now, that wouldn't be the end of the world if you did. Now, multiplayer you should definitely get, and bring some friends too. It's free and it's a really fun time. Although till Forge arrives, there won't be any fun custom games. I got it on the Xbox Game Pass, so I got the game for free. If you have the Xbox Game Pass, you can't really lose at this deal. Not only is the campaign free, but you get to play all the other great Xbox games that come for an honestly cheap price. Maybe I'll go more into detail in the campaign in a different video. Maybe later on in the year, I might want to do the other first 5 games first. And who knows, maybe in the future 343 will bring back Craig. Maybe for that live action show that Spielberg is currently working on. But until then, we can only pray and hope.